Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Now, yesterday I was on live and somebody asked me about the Coldplay cheating thing. And so I was just reading a update on it. And what I read online is that, the man resigned. It didn't say anything about the lady resigning. And then it did say the man's wife deleted her socials and removed her married name. And then the woman's husband deleted his socials or removed his wedding ring. And it's something I've always thought about in the workplace of how do people work together all the time. And a lot of times people try to make light of it and would try to make me seem like I'm taking things too seriously. But when you study human connection and human relations, you really understand that we really created for one purpose, and that's to come together, not created outside of God's purpose for our life. But I mean, as humans, if you sitting and you talking with somebody of the opposite sex and that's what you attracted to every day, all day, it's a good possibility feelings are going to form. And if you are married or in a committed relationship and you have to go to work and you got to work with people that you could potentially be attracted to, you have to create boundaries and rules and put things in place. And of course, that's why we call it the work wife, the work husband. That's why them terms exist. And it was something that I always thought about, and I thank God that I never had to work in a corporate setting for long. I resigned 4 years into my marriage, but I remember working in the home and you working with a woman and being around them and you 8 hours and you talking and stuff. To God be the glory. It never was a situation where I was attracted to the woman or it was like any type of chemistry or connection. But God forbid you in a situation 8 hours and you actually connect with somebody. That is temptation on another level. And as you see, this is what this couple got into. The man is married, the woman is married. And I was talking to my wife and she was telling me that she's read somewhere that the woman's husband is like, successful. He's a CEO of another company and, come from a good situation. And so think about that. Here you have this woman is, I'm guessing, unhappy in her relationship. This man unhappy in his relationship, but yet they both married. So you're married, but not resolving the situations in your relationship, and then you going to work and cheating with your coworker. And I honestly, to me, I feel like they might go to church. I honestly believe they might go to church. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes people in the world could get away with stuff like that. But I feel like if you say the name of God or you supposed to be a Christian, then you get exposed. Now, they might not be Christian and they might not go to church or whatever, but I just find it very, very strange that this successful couple, cheating couple, gets put on the camera. People talk about karma or whatever, all this. I don't believe in karma because I'm Christian, but, reaping what you sow, what done in the dark come to the light. That's the craziest thing in the world. You go to a concert and out of the tens of thousands of people, you get put on the camera. And they look so happy and lovey-dovey. And I bet all it was just like a thrill, just to make work a little more interesting, make work a little more fun. They probably be at work sneaking off into the bathroom and sneaking off. He probably got blinds on his office and she go in there and he closed the blinds. And they probably just were trying to live out what they see on a movie, what they seen on a movie, and then boom, blow up in their face and got what they deserve. But what you have to think about is the implications of this, and the reason why I address some of this stuff when it goes viral like that is because it does actually affect us in our day-to-day relationships. So now it's like every man and every woman who is married or in a relationship and their other half has a job that they got to go to and work 40 hours a week with people of the opposite sex. Now there is a rift in every household in America. In every household, there has been a conversation. Are you cheating on me? Do you have a work husband? Do you have a work wife? Let me see your phone. Let me look in your text message. Give me the password to the phone company. Let me go through your text messages. There's people who have just suffered abuse because of this right here that has gone viral. Because if you look at it and you say, hold on now, if this woman with a successful CEO and she can't be faithful to her man, and this man is married, they probably got kids too. Both of them probably got kids. If they married with kids and they can't be faithful, what in the world is going on? And I have seen this in the workplace, and I've seen this with Christian men and women, with leaders. Remember, it was a couple of different scandals in the NBA where there was men who were having affairs with a woman in the organization that they work with. And it also is this thing of like, for me, it's very sobering because I've always put women on a pedestal, and I've been outside of that, the red pill community, who they really, in the red pill community, they really preach that, women are cheaters, women are liars, women cheat more than men. And I've always been on the other side of like, a woman's never done anything wrong to me. Like, I've never went through something at the hands of a woman that I felt like I didn't deserve or that I didn't bring upon myself, and based on how I was treating her. And so I've always been on that other side of that. And then so to see stuff like this, it's like, oh, wow, okay. So I remember this man in the NBA, this coach. I remember this NBA executive. Now I see this executive, and each one of these men, the woman is consensually having an affair as well with the man. And she has a husband, just like he has a wife. So what it shows you is that humans are flawed, and that it ain't that men worse than women or women worse than men. It's that sin is permeating, and it affects anybody who does not have up their shield and the armor of God. Anybody is susceptible. And it really makes you think how you have to guard your heart, and also how you have to constantly be working on your relationship. You have to constantly be communicating and working on your relationship. And an even bigger lesson is for when you in a relationship, you have to understand that it's never going to be 100% perfect. And the grass is never greener on the other side. And no matter what you feeling like or what you going through, you can't get tricked into believing that the milk gonna be sweeter from somebody else's farm, that the grass gonna be greener. And you have to look at what you have and be grateful for what you have and work on what you have. And I bet what it was is they probably just got complacent, and they probably just got bored in their relationship and just felt like, hey, this will be fun, this will be a thrill. And that's why I believe they're Christian, because a lot of times this stuff don't happen to people who are bad people and like not doing the right thing in their life. Like, the devil don't care if he already got you on his team. A lot of times this stuff happen to people who know right from wrong, who know God, and they choosing to do wrong. They choosing to be whatever, and then they get exposed. And just think about this, and because this also happened with the Michigan State football coach, where I can't remember if he was married or not, but where he got a little out the way on the text message with the young lady he was bringing in to speak to his team, and this man had a $95 million contract, and over some text messages, and she said he lost his job. Like, he was fired because she said that they were on the phone and he relieved himself, like he, whatever, took care of himself on the phone. And she said that he was kind of like coming on to her or whatever on text message, and he lost a $95 million contract. $95 million contract because of that right there. And it was nothing like, it wasn't even something to where she said he forced herself, or it was physical, in person, inappropriate type of stuff, like what the lady tried to say on Shannon Sharp. And then even when you look at Shannon Sharp, this lady come out and say he did this right here, did that right there inappropriately, and he loses all his sponsors. Your man lost millions of dollars, and now they're saying he might be able to make a comeback, and he had a victory, and they had a settlement. But it's like, when them sponsors take them dollars off of you, and they not spending that money, and they business don't go bankrupt, and they realize like, hey, we still out here eating, like we still out here living, and it's another podcaster over here that got just as much motion that now has popped up, and we can put our name on them. Them sponsors might not ever go back to Shannon Sharp, all because of this illicit relationship. And what men have to think about is the consequences and what you can lose from your indiscretions. And yes, women got to think about that as well. But when you look at it, the young lady who told on the Michigan State coach, she lost nothing. Like, other schools not gonna not bring her in. They actually gonna bring her in with the hopes that if they sent her a inappropriate text, she don't come out on them. Like, they calling her to make sure, hey, we good? Hey, everything good? Hey, we wanted to bring you in. And actually, we're gonna up your pay from 10K to 15K. So she probably ate better. When you look at the young lady that was working on OnlyFans with Shannon Sharp, she didn't lose anything. It actually put her name out there because Shannon said her name and said what she do on OnlyFans. She probably got 10,000 new subscribers from Shannon shouting her out, because men don't care nothing about that. Men don't care nothing about another man's plight. Oh, that's you, Shannon Sharp. You lost your sponsorships. You lost your ESPN job. I'm finna go over here and get on this subscription, get my little rocks off. So it probably blew her name up. And then, like with this right here, the HR lady, the CEO, the man resigned. The lady didn't resign. Now she might get fired, but I don't know, will she? Because it was the CEO. So that's why I'm speaking to the men, is you have to, because in these situations, it's the men who are also initiating and leading this, because you the man. So you have the more physical power, you have the financial position, you have the power dynamic in your favor. So if you make all this money, you're a CEO, you're a $95 million head coach, you're a X amount of $1 million podcaster, you are in the power position with this power dynamic, and you have to think about those indiscretions. And the thing about it is you're gonna be tested every single day. Like, every single day as men, we get a test, and we have the opportunity to say something or do something that is inappropriate. Every single day, there's interaction with women that can go left. And so you have to be prayed up. You gotta be focused. You have to be intentional. And that's why I did a video. I don't know if I released it yet. I need to check. Well, I was talking about staying a step ahead of the devil. And that's what I was talking about. And I was talking about when I was at Home Goods yesterday and the lady that was in there, and how had I not been 2 steps ahead and not been already prepared and in my spirit and going to war in my spirit, going to war in the dark, then I could have failed that test. And every single day there's another test. And I believe that God is allowing these men to be knocked down at the highest level to send a message to every other man that you better get right. You better get right, because you're up next. If you don't watch what you are saying, watch what you are doing, watch how you are living, you are up next. Your number gonna get called. And so we got to realize and understand that. And so when we see this stuff, yes, it may seem facetious, it may seem insignificant or whatever, but that stuff actually does make you look at your spouse with a side eye and wonder, like, oh, what you'll do. I remember when my wife was applying for jobs, and she was like gonna go work in like PR for like sports team or like social media marketing. That was my first thought. My first thought was her going to the office every day and working around these young, fit, happy-go-lucky, smiling men, and then us going through a season of stress and fatigue and me being angry or mad or whatever, stressed out from my life, from my work, and then this guy, at the office bringing her lunch or sitting and kikiing and talking. And that was my first thought. That was my first thought. And then now to see something like that keep playing out in the media, these different affairs that's happening in the workplace. You might be watching this right now and having an affair in your workplace. Let this be your lesson. Don't think that because you're not the CEO. Don't think that because, just like the lady, what's her name, Fannie Willis or Fannie something, who was getting towed out the frame by the man in Georgia. And I think she was doing something against Trump, and the man worked for Trump or something like that. And her and the man, they went on a trip to the island, and she out there doing all of this, and then lost all credibility because of that relationship. And I don't know if they was married or he was married or she was married or whatever. She could have been single or he could have been married or both could have been single, but it was like the fraternization in that political space was frowned upon, and their stuff was aired out there, and she had to answer questions about it on the stand. And now credibility is lost, all because of an indiscretion, all because we can't control our hormones, our emotions, our feelings. And that's what you have to do when you see this stuff, because a lot of times it's certain people that take a approach like, oh, I'm tired of hearing about this celebrity gossip, or I'm tired of hearing about these media hot takes and all of this right here. But there's a lesson in everything, and you just have to use the wisdom to get the lesson from it and apply it to your life, so that you don't find yourself up a creek without a paddle like these people that's going through this stuff. And then once you realize that, like, oh, you know what? Okay. Because like right now, I'm working on me a little corporate job. And I remember going in to an organization, and I saw how one of the men, who was a married man, hugged a lady who was a married lady. And I remember saying to one of the other staff, like, hey, this lady thinks that because she is this right here, she think that she got this man who is her boss wrapped around her finger, and she got carte blanche, and she could do whatever she want to do because she senses that he is attracted to her. And so I talked to the man. I say, you got to be careful with your emotions and with that emotional cheating or that emotional affair or that emotional love making, because it'll quickly get out of hand. And that's something that has to be, and the man let me know, like, he struggled with that, and he's always struggled with being faithful to his wife, and women is his vice. And I say, you got to be careful with that. And so I remember one time a lady told me, it was a girl. She probably, I can't remember um, who it was, but she was in like an influencer or what have you, and she told, could have been a podcaster or somebody. She said, Tony, you need to be nicer to women. She say, your reputation in the industry is that you're mean. You need to be nicer. And I told her, I said, it's not that I'm mean. I said, I just don't do no type of flirting and stuff like that. It's like I'm just very strict, like business. I'm a nice person. Like any women on here that's watching this who have met me, I'm not mean to anybody. I'm nice. I may even give a compliment, but I'm gonna keep you at arm's distance. I'm not gonna be all too fraternizing because I'm a married man, and that stuff could be taken out of context. And in my job and what I do, I have to evaluate women's pictures. I have to help them prepare for a relationship. I have to evaluate their man. I have to talk to them about things that they want to work on. I've had a client ask me before, she was a little out there. She asked me how to wax her thing. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, she was getting ready to go see her man who was a multimillionaire. And she was like, Tony, like, how should I wax my thing? Like, should I do a landing strip? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, so because I'm put in those awkward positions, I have to be very strict with how I move and how I handle people, because it easily could be taken out of context. And that's what I want to tell men is like, you got to have boundaries, and you got to watch what you say. You got to watch what you text. Almost every mom that I work with, and when I say every, but I would say 50%, try to make a pass at me, try to hit on me, try to flirt, try to say something. Like if I'm working with someone or I'm mentoring someone and then I meet their mom or whoever, I have to be very careful with that, because that's a thing. That is a whole thing of like guys in certain, let's say a guy work in a youth center, detention center, coaching. It's a whole thing. Barbershop. It's a whole thing for men to sleep with the mom of the young men they're working with or mentoring. That's a whole notch in the belt, goal, accomplishment, bragging right that men will do. And I'm seeing it in the industry now, like guys making love to the mind of a woman so that they can represent the woman's son or daughter. And men trying to flirt with and sleep with a single mom because her son or daughter is a phenom. And the woman wanting attention and wanting love will get duped and derail their son or daughter's whole career because of the selfishness of this man who is trying to just make money off of the woman's son or daughter. And I've seen it both ways. I've seen men do it to women who got a daughter who is like a star tennis player, star golfer, star volleyball player. And I've seen men do it to women who have a son who's a star football player, star basketball player. And So you gotta have those boundaries, whichever side you on. So if you are a single parent or if you are in a committed relationship, when you go into the workplace, when you go into certain places, certain arenas, you gotta have boundaries, because it's not that you will do something. It's sometimes somebody else has a plot and a plan. They have a fantasy, they have a goal, and they trying to get in position. And I done had to see that and learn that the hard way. And because of what I do, I'm hypersensitive to it, and I pay a little more attention to it than most people would. And whereas most people think, oh, that's just an innocent conversation. Like, I have people that I know personally who are have had an affair in the most innocent environments. Like, had an affair at like community events. Like, met somebody in fundraising, met somebody in philanthropy, had an affair, and then both of them leave their marriage. And they literally were in, it's not like they met in the strip club. It's not like they met on OnlyFans. It's not like they met in the casino. Like, literally, people meeting in church, people meeting in ministry, people meeting in philanthropy, people meeting in community service, like in the most innocent environments, and having affairs. So the devil don't care where you at. He don't care how long you've been married. He don't care what your race is, what your height is, what your weight is. If he can derail or upend the institution of marriage and what God has put in place for us to come together and be together and be servants for his good, and to raise families in a two-parent household that is a God-fearing household, and you raising God-fearing children that's gonna go out and be a light for the world. If he can upend that, that's exactly what he's gonna do. And so you gotta be mindful of that. And you gotta process that, you gotta think about that, and you gotta make sure that you are putting that hedge of protection around yourself, whether you're a single parent and you wanna be married, or whether you in a relationship to be married, or you married. Let this be a lesson. Let it be a lesson. Don't let this stuff steal your brain waves and steal your time and attention, and you not get a lesson from it. No matter how far-fetched it is from you, pull a lesson from it. Every situation that you have to sit and endure in the media, get a lesson. And I guarantee you that lesson will come in handy at some part of your walk. But hey, this Tony Gasson, God bless you. I got a mentoring session here in a little bit. Mentor YouTuber from another country. If you want to get on YouTube, make sure you visit TonyGassonAcademy.com. Get the YouTube for beginners. And then I got another course called YouTube Secrets, and it shared the details with you, and I share with you what my channel earns and how you can earn as well. So get on over there and get that, and use the coupon code YouTube, and I think it'll give you 30% off any of the courses. God bless you. We'll talk soon.